Hey, welcome to the Working People's Pod on the Out of the Sand Trap Podcast Network. I am your host, Rock, spelled R-A-Q, pronounced R-O-C, and I'm here with my co-host.
The great Does Dillinger, baby.
And joining us,
TF from the ATL.
TF from the ATL. So, once again, we do invite you to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. We're on Spotify and all of the streaming channels, as well as on YouTube. We also invite you to join us at outofthesandtrap.com, where we do have merchandise for sale. We can also leave questions, comments on our feedback line, and we do look forward to hearing from you. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about a couple of different things, but the main thing we want to talk about today is the sandwich generation. The sandwich generation is what the term they're using now for adults who are taking care of their elderly parents as well as may have children of their own. So they're kind of sandwiched in between those two generations of people. And I believe all three of us are actually in that generation or have been at some point in that generation where we've taken care of our elderly parents as well as have children that we've taken care of. And I think it'll be a pretty good topic for us to kind of dig deeper into because, a lot of working people are in that situation. I do have a clip from CBS that kind of explains a little bit more about that.
Please.
Ah!
Wow.
Stop. $270,103. And we're getting zero.
As adults age and as parents are living longer, there are a lot of folks in what's known as the sandwich generation, right? They're taking care of children. They're also taking care of their adult parents who are ailing. We're looking at the cost of caring.
So you're working at a job, a paid job. You have another half or full-time job taking care of your loved ones. How are you ever supposed to take care of yourself?
Every year, Americans provide about $600 billion in uncompensated care and services to family members.
It's a long-term effect on those family caregivers.
You know, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is how much money you should be making providing care that you're not actually getting paid for.
I took care of my mother when she was sick. She was diagnosed with cancer. And so it is a personal experience for me as well as something I care deeply about. Taking care of a parent, that means trying to cook what they want to eat, right? What they can eat. It means picking out clothes for them that that's soft enough that it doesn't irritate their skin, right? It means trying to think of something funny to make them laugh or smile. Yeah. And there's so much about that that really is about giving folks dignity. And to your point about being in the sandwich generation, there are so many people in our country who are right in the middle. They're taking care of their kids and they're taking care of their aging parents. And it's just almost impossible to do it all, especially if they work. We're finding that so many are then having to leave their job, which means losing a source of income. Yeah. Not to mention the emotional stress. And so what I am proposing is that basically what we will do is allow Medicare to cover in-home health care.
Fine.
Right.
So obviously that was Kamala Harris, and that was kind of one of her policies that she was running on, that she actually wanted to help people who were in that particular situation. People like probably the three of us and a whole lot of other people who take care of their elderly parents but don't really get compensated for it, don't have a whole lot of help. I know you guys have some experience with that, so tell me what you think.
I don't know. Like right now, I'm looking out for my mother right now. So it's not as easy as I thought it would be. But as long as I'm making her comfortable, that makes me feel good. I don't know how too many ways to put it. You had the way of life of living. But now it's like you gotta fit into a family situation that wasn't the family that you built. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So you had it set up a certain way, and now it's different.
Yeah. I love my
Yeah, I
mother.
got you.
But I love my mother. So it's like most people say stress. I don't think it's stress because I just want to make my mother happy. Even though
Mm.
she's not the easiest person to get along with in the world. But
Well, the older they get, I don't think any of them
yeah,
too easy to get along with as they get older.
yeah. But she has her way of doing things, and I have my way of doing things. So, and most times we gotta compromise. We gotta come together and figure out what's the best way of getting something done.
What about you, TF? Big TF?
I feel that it is very hard just trying to take care of an elderly person anyway. And when they suffering with things like dementia, it makes it even harder because at certain times of the day, they have mood swings. And when they have those mood swings, it makes it very difficult to deal with them because they lash out at you. They will actually fight with you. And that alone would make it very, very hard. And you're looking at your parent deteriorating like that. And on top of that, you have to do everything with them as if they are a child. And if you have your own kid that you have to take care of on top of that, that means that your work is even harder because it's like you taking care,
Right.
no matter how many kids you have, you got to add one kid to that kid or the kids that you have because it could get to the point to where you have to bathe them, you have to feed them. You have to watch after them 24/7 because they would get up and they would escape. And when I mean escape, they would walk out of the door, they'll walk out in the garage, they would go places that you wouldn't even imagine that they would go. And trying to get them to understand that those are things that they cannot do makes it even harder because they think that you are against them when you're trying to protect them. And it really does make it harder. And you have to work on top of that as well. It's a lot. And by your job not understanding what you go through on a day-to-day basis with those things that you have to juggle along with the job, that alone makes it even harder as well.
Yeah. I know for me, I took care of my mom for 2 years, and just the work part of it got to be so much that I actually ended up having to let her go stay with my sister for the final year of her life. And I carry a lot of guilt with that because when she was with me, she was, and I'm not saying it has anything to do with where she was, but because I was able to be with her and kind of see her progression. And she wasn't in full stage of Alzheimer's or anything like that, but she definitely was getting some onset of dementia. And because she was with me all the time, I was able to see her kind of sundown around 4:30, 5 o'clock. You know how to, all of a sudden, the whole character kind of changes. I was able to pick up on that because I was with her all the time. But because me being, at the single at the time, it was my sole financial responsibility, so everything. So it's like, okay, do I go out here and get another job to pay these bills to keep a roof over everybody's head and let her go stay with my sister? Or do I kind of stay here and struggle with her while I'm trying to take care of her, but also struggle financially with it? And I made a choice that I actually still kind of go back and forth with guilt with it, to be honest. Like, almost kind of like, maybe I wish I should have just, handled the, budgeted or do whatever it would have took to keep her with me, not knowing that that was going to be the last year of her life. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. That's
yeah. You
that's
guys ever, you feel like any guilt with it, or do you feel any kind of, or just seeing your parent go from the parent that used to whip your ass to, needing you for everything?
you come from my mom had energy.
Right.
And that's what I'm dealing with now. Like she had energy. Like she'll strike me down in a heartbeat, beat the shit out of me, do whatever she had to do. But it's like now I'm watching her slow down a little bit. Like she's slower than before. It's like she didn't me do certain things for her. It's like it's a little bit hard for me. It's like, and I know who you are. Like rambunctious energy all day. That's all you do. And she tried to keep that up, but it's like it's hard for her to do now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So I
Yeah,
can
man.
very well relate to both of you all because I'm dealing with the same thing right now. And just seeing your parents slow down, as this just said, that is heartbreaking within itself. And when you have dementia added to it, it makes it even more heartbreaking because you go from seeing your parents slow down to seeing your parent can't even remember who you are. And that is hard, very heartbreaking to where you see your own mother
Right.
not knowing who her son is anymore, you know. And I got to the point to where me and my sister had to put her in a home, which my sister put it in a home, but it's heartbreaking for me to even go see her in the home because when I get ready to leave, I feel guilty that I'm having to leave her behind. And the way that she look at me sometimes is if she know that I'm leaving her. And it actually put me on a guilt trip because I know what she have done for me and she never left me behind. So I really feel really bad when I go see her. And people don't realize when you dealing with that type of thing, when your parents get elderly, it's a lot mentally that weighs on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
like my mom sometimes is like she's with me right now, and I want her with me, and I can't see me putting her in the home. Like that. I mean, that will break me more than anything else. Like for what she done for me, like this is the one constant person that always have my back. So for me to leave her somewhere, I don't think I can do that.
It was really
Yeah, I
hard.
know.
It was really
Go
hard for
ahead.
me. That's why I did not make the decision. The decision was made by my sister, and I wasn't even knowledgeable of it. But when I was made aware of it, I'm like you did. I mean, it broke me all the way down. And she been there for like 2 years now. And every day that I go see her, it don't get better. It get worse. So you absolutely right. I can't phantom just, me myself personally just putting her there. But I didn't have any
Yeah, I
really
can't
say.
see it. I can't see it. My mother is still semi-functional, so it's like I know she's going to decline over years, but it's like, yo, you used to be my
Yeah.
ass. Like, yo, you ain't going nowhere. Like we ride together, we die together.
That's
That's
what's
how
up.
me and my mom gonna ride out. I'm gonna ride
Yeah.
with her to the end. Like that. I
I
mean,
mean,
I
it's a
love my
tough choice, but also, I mean, just to be real, like you do have to think about what you have the capacity to do,
yeah,
how well you can take care of her. I have a aunt, and my cousins had to put her in a home, and she's actually, I don't even think she's 70 yet, but she had dementia starting real early, so she's already full blown Alzheimer's, and they just couldn't take care of her, and it was just better for her to have her in a place where they can look after her 24/7, because I mean her whole personality changed. Like she went from being the sweetest person in the world to the meanest person in the world, and was
Mm.
fighting everybody, and even in nursing home she's fighting. So it's like they didn't have the capacity to care for her, and being everyday working people, you can't always bring in people to be there. You can't bring in people to bring there 24
right.
hours a day. You know what I'm
And
saying?
the
So
cost, and the
it's a
cost as
difficult
well.
choice.
The
Right.
cost
It
as
The
costs a
well.
lot.
cost alone.
Yeah, it costs a lot. It really does. You know.
Yeah, I know with my mom that they did allow her to get like 4 hours. Well, I think it came to maybe 12 hours a week. So 4 hours for 3 days of a home health aide coming in or whatever. I mean, but what about the other hours in the week? You know what I'm saying? Nobody was there. Yeah. If she falls or something in the middle of the night, I gotta run and go get her because I mean, ain't nobody there else to get her. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
that's it.
some help, but it's not enough. And when I think about the fact that we actually had a presidential candidate that was looking at that particular issue that nobody else addressed ever, and said, I need to help people who have to deal with this situation, and we let it go.
Yeah, I'll vote for Kamala again. Like, I love Kamala.
Yeah,
She was talking about issues that I needed that was helping me out, and helping my
yeah,
mother out. She understood.
right. Yeah, so now we in a situation where everything about to get cut.
Yeah, it's gonna
It's
get
crazy.
really.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, y'all got anything else to say about the sandwich generation? I'm honestly getting a little sad thinking about it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely hug away.
I was definitely do that for sure.
I
You know, I
want
got in of they hear you. I was
Mm-hmm.
definitely that.
Absolutely.
she's
So
my
in some
biggest hero. When I was down and out, she's my hero. So it's like, for me to do this for her, it's not a problem.
Right.
most definitely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, we'll probably revisit this We'll probably visit this at another time. Say what? You got a tear? Man, somebody get him a tissue. Yeah, I know you do.
That's a very
I know you do.
sensitive topic.
All right, so yeah, it is, man, it is, because it's just so many different dynamics to it, honestly, and so I'm sure we'll revisit it at some point because it's ongoing too. Like you just never know. You know what I'm saying? What kind of situation you even gonna end up in? You know what I'm saying? And as you get older, you start thinking about that kind of like, dang,
I don't think my
like my
kids.
mom specifically said, I don't want to go to a nursing home. I want to be with you, when I have to. And so it was kind of like, well,
Maybe
what
they
can you do? You
my
know what I'm
kids
saying?
don't sell me down the river.
Say what?
My kids don't sell me down the river. Like, oh, he gotta go. Like, we don't like
They
my
probably will.
kids.
No, they probably will. And he ain't gonna need to be in the nursing home. They gonna put him in there anyway. Just like, yeah, you just go now. For real. Like, y'all come get him now. He just
I
turned
know.
50. Get it? I believe it.
That better,
I believe it. Especially the older boy and the older girl. They gonna team up on you.
you better put him
Right.
something nice in that wheel.
Right.
No,
Man, listen.
ain't no will.
See, that's a
Ain't no
topic for
will.
that's a whole nother podcast right there.
Like, ain't no will.
Right. You gotta win. Let's move into the mainstream news is a joke segment. Because it's been a long setup for this podcast today. I did want to talk about tariffs. I mean, we can jump on it a little bit because he's threatening tariffs, then he pulling them back,
This one.
threatening them, he pulling them back. He like he like a bully that you punch in the eye.
Like, I'm doing
Yeah,
tech. I'm not doing tech. Like, he playing jumping jacks. Like, I'm gonna
yeah,
do it.
he is.
I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Like, so is it real or not real right now?
We'll find out. I mean, he changes his mind every day.
April 2nd.
You have to understand this guy is a joke. He throws more threats out than anything. So trust and believe his bark is way worse than his bite. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
we already seen that in his first term, to where he's so undecided about everything. He'll say one thing, he'll do another one. He might do it, he might not. Most of the time, he's not going to do it because he's a coward. So we already know.
Yeah. I think he's like that. He's like that bully that if you punch him in the eye, he'll back down. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like he loves threatening, and then as soon as somebody stands up or country stands up, he sits back down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, the problem with it though is that it's affecting the markets. It's affecting the economy. Like every time he opened his mouth to say that, the stock market drop, and like for most working people, the only stock that you own is probably in your 401k or your retirement package or something, and that's it's steadily going down because he's making these threats. In the end, tariffs are only going to affect the consumer. Like we're the ones that are going to have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Now, this ain't
So
a
it's
topic that's worth talking about right now because it's unknown. It's the most unknown thing. Is he going to do it or he's not going to do it? Do it. Do it. Stop talking about it. Do it. Make a move.
He's not going to
Stop
do
talking
it.
about it.
He doesn't know what he's doing. You can tell that he's inexperienced, first and foremost. So he just throwing things out there on the wall just to see what would stick. And when it comes back to bite him, then he have to eat what he put out there. So he didn't think about the tariffs that he was going to put on Mexico and Canada, that if they put tariffs back on us, it would hurt us even more. He didn't think about that. So that lets you
right.
know but he don't
Right.
know anything about how things are ran when it comes to government. And that's where
Right.
most of that voted for him only voted for him out of racism. It wasn't would he
Got a
know and
point.
how. It was basically out of racism. And now that it's coming back to bite them, what was the saying? Up around and find out. They upped around and they found out.
Motto.
That's the
Right.
same.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they definitely voted their skin color over their economy because there's no justification for it, and they're getting hit hard. They're getting hit. I mean, we're used to getting hit hard, so it's almost like it's just kind of like, well, this is another day being black in America for us, but for them, it's listen, they're
Did you
taking
hear
it
what China said though?
extremely hard.
That China said China. They said we go to trade wars, terror wars, whatever kind of war he want. We ready for it.
Yeah,
China ready to go. They
it's more.
said they ready for the war.
That is
It's
not
not
what
because they got a bigger population and way more people in the military than we got
most definitely.
at the weapons.
But they said they ready for whatever kind of war he wants. Like, dude, stop bumping your gums. You about to put
And there will be. There's going to be a war. Now, with whom? I don't know. But he's not going to leave that office without there being a war. I
and
guarantee
everybody
you that.
ready for it. Everybody says they're ready for it right now.
But the chaos that he's creating is going to be a war with different countries and not just one, because he's pushing away all of our allies. So who's going to stand in our
That's right.
defense? So if you get China
Yeah.
and Russia against the United States, we can stick a fork in it. We done.
My thinking is that Russia, North Korea, my thinking is that they're going to continue to encourage him to isolate us, and then they're going to attack us. Because at that point, if he gets us out of NATO, which I'm pretty sure is coming soon, they're not going to fight for us. We just going to be out on our own. So they want us to be isolated.
The nation is in their church right now. Like what? When church is that what you want to do? Now they talking to the boy like that he want to be heard. They telling him in his own language. Like, yo, it's whatever you want to do. My shirt is off. Let's fight.
Right.
But with that being said, they know that he's a bluff. They know this. So they can throw.
Yeah.
He's not going.
That's why they said
he's not going to react on it because they know he's a coward. So they can throw all kinds of threats at him. He's not going to take it. He's not going to take it. And that's where he has the American people hoodwinked and bamboozled because he want to have this tough guy image when he's not a tough guy.
Right.
And that's where he's going to get us in the trouble.
Right. So allow me to make a smooth transition into standing up to a bully. So he had actually this thing that he did last week was not the actual State of the Union. It was just a joint address to Congress. So it looked like the State of the Union. It actually wasn't the State of the Union. I did not watch it. I understand it. Y'all didn't watch it either, or maybe watch clips or something. I didn't even watch clips of it. You watched it?
I watched that bullshit.
That's why
it was clips. I watched that bullshit just to see him. Like, basically, look, normally when you say the president talks, everybody starts clapping, he get quiet. This dude got quiet, and waited for everybody to clap.
Well, because they trained. You got them trained now.
Yeah. He was waiting for applause the whole time. He was making statements, clickbaits, and everything else. He was bullshitting around. And I watched that shit for an hour and a half, and I'm like, I can't take it no more.
So he claimed to have a mandate. So he claimed to have a mandate to end Medicaid and Medicare. And when he did that, Al Green out of Texas, 73-year-old, I believe, or 77-year-old man, black man, stood up and pointed his cane at him and said, "You do not have a mandate to take away Medicaid and Medicare." And he was removed from Congress, the halls of Congress. He was censured the next day, which basically means that he's not allowed to bring forth any bills or speak up about anything. Pretty much, you just kind of sitting there holding a seat at that point. The issue came for me when I found out that 10 Democrats also voted to censure him. these are so-called Democrats in so-called kind of purple areas, or or either maybe Republican areas scared to lose their seats. So I guess they thought they were making a stand or something. But it's a bad look, and that's why I think people keep saying Democrats are weak. They ain't got no fight in them. Like we don't stick together. Like you'll never find Republicans do that ever.
You don't.
It could be the worst thing in the world. They're gonna stick with each other regardless. Yeah, well, yeah, he did the worst thing in the world, but hey, it's
Well,
better
you
than
would
the Democrats. That's what they're gonna say.
well, they already showing us that they stick together no matter what.
Right,
Because we shouldn't have
right,
47 back in office after the first term. But they
right.
stuck together, and no matter what it took, they got him back in there. And we know how he got back in there. And they trying to turn a
Hmm.
blind eye to what really happened just to get him in there because they don't care. Because they out for their own interest. So by that being said, they would do whatever. And they shown us that they would do whatever. No matter who's in office, they're gonna still let us know who run this country. And the Democrats, somewhat play the role that they are one party, but at the same time, they another party, and they just,
Joe
claim to.
mention anyone? Yeah. Now that was Joe Manchin's whole thing. Like, and I remember even before him, Joe Lieberman was like that too. Like, you supposed to be a Democrat, but you basically side with Republicans on everything.
That's what
It's
I'm
like
saying.
you're an undercover Republican because of the area you in, so you can keep winning. You know what I'm saying? You do all the Republican things.
Right.
And yeah, Democrats have a problem with that. And I'm not big on bashing Democrats as a whole, because I gather enough information to know that they are doing things or as much as they can, but also I know how civics works. If you ain't got the numbers, you ain't got the numbers. So it doesn't matter, honestly, how many times you protest or do whatever. Like, if you don't have the numbers, you don't have the numbers, and that's on the voters. We're the ones that are allowing people who don't have our best interests to say they're a Democrat and then come and vote against Democrats. That makes no sense. Like, every one of those 10 Democrats should be primaried, and another Democrat that's more progressive, that's looking out for all of us, should be put in that seat. We're not being active enough in protecting ourselves, and that's the problem. Like, these people are getting these seats because we don't, like, the midterms. People don't even show up for.
Most
Like,
definitely.
if you ran for a seat in the midterms right now. For example, if you ran, say, city council, for example, I'm just saying, and only 2,500 people come out to vote, that ain't a big number to get. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in these midterms, the numbers aren't millions of people coming out. You talking about 10, 15,000 people coming out. And that's
But
how
see,
they're winning.
this is the thing. We as a people are not educated on what matters the most. We thinking just because we go vote for a president that's going to change everything. But they don't
Hmm.
look at the Senate race, all the midterm races that they have that we don't turn out to vote for. And that's why the Republicans always be in office for years after years after years, because the white people are gonna get out and they're gonna vote in those midterms. Well, the
Hmm.
black on our hand, but we're gonna sit back and complain about everything that's going wrong, but we're not doing absolutely nothing about it. So that is for us to blame ourselves for
Right.
not being
I
involved
agree.
in
Because
figuring
even
out what we need to do.
Right. Because even the Republicans that are winning, they're not winning by a lot of votes. Like, some of them winning by 1,700 votes, 4,000 votes. That's just because we're not showing up. Marjorie
That's right.
Taylor Greene, I think she won her seat by like 1,750 votes. Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the worst people in Congress. Like,
Well,
she
I
only
mean,
won because people don't show up.
I think right now it's going to be a change. I believe, I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on it, but I think it's going to be a change soon.
The only way
Like,
it's gonna make a change is if people get out and educate themselves and stop using these devices for things that's not gonna matter in their life. They gotta start looking up different things, reading about different things, and stop listening to second and third hand information and get first hand information from what they read and what they actually pull up to educate themselves on. But you getting other information from other people, you're going to be misled every time.
That's actually true, and that's one reason why Kamala, one reason why she's not president right now, because just from our community alone, it was mostly misinformation and disinformation that caused people not to show up for her. You
That's
know,
right.
things that Trump said that she did that she never did, and you heard it so much, the news blasted it so much that you believed it instead of doing some research and saying, oh, that didn't even happen. You know what I'm saying? And you basically they threw away our whole democracy over a lie that they never bothered to fact check.
That's
So you're
right.
absolutely right about that.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy, man. So yeah, so what I watched instead of that performance he did, I watched two things actually. There was a 24-hour marathon on YouTube. It was called State of the People. It was put together by Angela Ryan Joy Reid, and it was politicians, journalists, like just a whole tons of 24 hours, activists in rotating succession, just giving lots and lots of information. And I actually streamed it live, and I think 4 people came in. So it told me something like, y'all, this is the stuff you should be interested in seeing.
Right.
But this ain't the
Right.
stuff you're interested in seeing. Everybody's saying, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? But y'all don't even want to watch this to see what you're gonna do. So I know you ain't gonna read nothing. If you ain't gonna watch this, you ain't gonna read nothing. The other thing I watched during that time was State of the Black Union, which is on Roland Martin's Unfiltered Network, Black Star Network. So, and that was basically similar, where he was talking to politicians, journalists, different commentators. Reverend William Barber from the Poor People's Campaign basically gave the main speech. Those are the things that we need to kind of start listening to instead of following mainstream media, because they're not on our side at this point. They're not going to give us all the information that we need.
They're controlled by the 1%. Anybody that has that, you can get them to say whatever you pay them to say. And
that's right.
It's very ironic that news became fake when 47 showed up to run for president. All of a sudden, all the years before he got into politics, everybody looked to the news to get all the information. When he came on the scene,
right,
any news outlet other than Fox News is fake news. So you tell me, how is that all the other news outlet is fake and one news outlet is the truth, when all the other networks saying the same thing and Fox News saying something different? Make it make sense.
right.
All of the other ones saying the same thing. One news outlet saying something different. That lets you know that that's the fake one.
Right.
Why American people?
I mean, the fact that they had to pay that big lawsuit out for lying should have let people know, and they're not actually even news. Like, you can't really call Fox News news. That's the title. That's not what that is. And he used them as a propaganda wing. And instead of people correcting the record and saying, no, we're going to be the standard and y'all have to come up to where we are, they sunk down to where Fox News is. You know what I'm saying? And now they're bending the knee left and right. When ABC paid that money out to Trump for the defamation or whatever, they could have fought that. When they paid that money out without even putting up a fight, I was like, man, oh, it's over now. Because we ain't even talking about cable news. We know cable news can be a scam most of the time anyway. But when you start talking about network news saying, nah, we're not even gonna put up a fight. We're gonna give you this $15 million and we're gonna be nice and talk nice about you. That's a problem for us. Because the news, the journalism, that's supposed to be the fourth rail, the fourth estate. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got the 3 branches of government. Journalism is supposed to be that fourth kind of area where we're supposed to be able to get the facts, the truth, and we're not getting that now. A lot of people gonna be in trouble because they're not gonna do the research. We can be dumbed down. You know, it's a scary time.
Well, the thing is, Rock, they looking at ratings. They don't want to lose rating. So whatever lie be told, they roll with it. for the ratings so
Right.
they can stay
Right.
in business. So all of this is a business thing. And we gotta look at it as that. Money talk, bullshit walk.
Yeah.
That's so. This is where we at.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yourself is too much out here to educate yourself with. You don't have to tune into that.
right.
But people won't take the initiative.
Exactly. Yeah, we can't be lazy intellectually. And that honestly as I get older that's a pet peeve of mine. Like if you're not willing to take the next step in thought, which don't require you to run or walk or lift a weight or nothing, just to think a step further, that's the kind of laziness that's going to destroy us, honestly. That's going to destroy us. Yeah, so we in trouble, but that's also why mainstream news is a joke. Is a
You
joke. So
know,
we gonna
The background to it.
well, you know how society is. Society has us to where we think that you have to have a college degree to think logical. And you don't. I know some people with master degrees, all types of degrees, and they can't even cross the street without somebody holding.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because actually, a degree really just means you finished. Doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean you learned anything.
It actually means that you bought whatever degree that you went for.
Nah,
You
because
did.
I feel like with all the student loans I got, I bought one, but I ain't because I ain't finished. I ain't got one.
I put a lot of money out there so far.
Yeah, so it ain't just money. Because I done bought a couple of.
Money, I done bought like 5 years.
You have some money racket. You know exactly what it is.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I done heard stories of people saying they went to college and only paid like $300 to go to college, like total. And I'm like, damn, yeah. I'm talking about back in the day, $300 for them to get through college, and I'm like, dang, it was $350 a credit. You like just for one credit. What I was trying to get through, so it's like, yeah, this is definitely a racket. It's definitely a racket. That's also
Think about the people that is in debt. You know what I'm saying? And still the dream job that they was going for. They got the degree, and you pull
right.
up at your local McDonald's and Burger King, and they in the drive-through window asking you, may they help you?
That's
Mm.
true. That's true. You got
Yeah.
a degree and can't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
I do know some people with degrees that can't even work in their field because just like any job, they want to start your entry level, and you like, dang, I don't pay $400,000. I should be able to at least come in making more than entry level.
Can I be the major? I'm the captain now.
But you know why you making entry
Say
level?
again?
Because you don't have
What's that?
this.
Look, I am the captain. That's I'm coming in. But I'm coming in. But yo,
Man, that was what's on my mind. But I don't know. Did y'all watch the Oscars? Because I didn't actually watch the Oscars.
was part of the Oscars.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I was
What
rooting
part?
for what's the name more?
You were rooting for Demi Moore,
Yeah.
but not Cynthia Erivo.
No. I don't have nose.
Nobody likes Cynthia. Okay, let me just say this right now. All right. Black people, Black Americans, leave Cynthia Erivo alone. All right. She misspoke one time years ago. I can't even find a clip. She ain't mean nothing by it. She was just saying exactly. And I ain't gonna say what she said, but it wasn't nothing like terrible. It was just kind of like, she was happy to be in America where she could kind of pursue her dreams or whatever, because she's from the UK. Like, huh?
That was the sixth one Wicked, right?
From Wicked, Harriet. All of a sudden, everybody hate her because she said that, and I'm like, y'all missing out on a great talent. Like, I'm a huge Cynthia Erivo fan. I just feel Black America need to leave her alone. That's all. That's all.
I mean more.
She's an Oscar away from being an EGOT.
Who?
Having an
Cynthia
Emmy,
Erivo?
Grammy, Oscar. Yeah, she's one away, and there's only 2 Black women that got it, and that's Whoopi Goldberg and Jennifer
Jennifer
Hudson.
Hudson.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but no, I think they need more.
Okay, but I mean, we rooting for everybody's Black. What are you talking about Demi Moore for? Yes, all the time. I'm
no.
rooting for everybody Black. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the May didn't win anyway. I'm just rooting for the May. She's been in the business for 40 years. I love a lot of her movies. I grew up with her movies. Don't lay your eyes at me. Don't lay your eyes at me.
I like Demi Moore too, but I'm just saying, if Demi Moore, so okay, let's just take Cynthia Erivo out of it, because y'all, Black Americans ain't fair to her. Let's say it was Demi Moore and Angela Bassett. Who you rooting for?
I'm rooting for Demi. I want Demi to win something. She been in the business for 40 years, 50 years. She old as hell. She should win something.
Angela Bassett been in the business for a long time too. So you telling me you picking Demi Moore over Angela Bassett?
Yeah.
See, that's a problem.
I'm not pro-black.
Hell
I'm
no.
not pro-black. I'm here for the talent. I'm here for the talent, baby.
Angela Bassett, dog.
Demi
No,
Moore, baby.
no, she don't hold a candle to Angela Bassett. No,
With me.
At all.
Yo, St. Elmo's fire. She was hot. St. Elmo's fire. Come on.
1983?
The queen was gentleman. G.I.
Bruh, you know you lost all credibility. When I changed it from Cynthia Erivo to Angela Bassett, you lost all credibility at that point.
that for sure.
I want Demi to win something.
It ain't got to do with it alone. Her in a
Exactly. Well, she should have won for What's Love Got to Do with It. Period.
Yes.
But if it was What's Love Got to Do with It versus G.I. Jane, you would have went with G.I. Jane.
Not all I want was a thing with gentlemen. She was good in it. She should have won that. So whatever the clothes on is, female Oscar winners. She should have won that. Don't hate on me.
Too late.
I like Demi.
It seemed like he's
Moving
not.
on. Oh man. Okay, Demi Moore. All right. I did want to talk about in our Muskie minute. Want to talk a little bit about this Elon Musk's spaceships dropping space junk all over the place.
Like, Tennis Zone, right?
Yeah. I think this stuff landed in the Bahamas this time.
Mm.
In Florida the last time. Dude is not good at stuff, and I'm noticing now when he takes over these companies, because he's not actually inventing things, he's stealing intellectual property.
Yeah.
And when he takes over these companies, he turns them to trash, just like he
It's
did
not
with
buzzing.
Twitter and Tesla and everything. Right. So when he like officially took over as the chairman or whatever of Tesla, that's when they started running into people and driving by themselves and causing accidents and stuff. Like he's terrible at stuff. That part. Like he's bad at, huh?
You can't park a Tesla in your garage because it might
No.
blow up.
It might.
So you lose a car and your house at the same time.
Right. At the same time. The house, and you can't sleep in your car because the car on fire too.
But most men all day. But the bottom line, the ball is horrible. He was horrible last week. He's horrible this week. He's gonna be horrible next week.
Yeah. And apparently, some people in the so-called administration getting tired of them, so they saying stuff now. But it's like, I mean, to have all the races fighting each other, I think it's probably a good thing. But I ain't got a dog in the fight.
Yeah, white man on white. I love it.
Yeah, a lot of white on white crime going on.
To show you where we are in America today, to where most of American following idiots, and one was supposedly voted in and the other one bought his way in. Wow.
Well, it also shows how people tend to think that because you have money that you're smarter, and that has almost never been the case. Especially, and unfortunately, people who say
they make their money off the backs of the working people. That's how they get the money. The smarts don't get it. The working class people smarts would get them the money. They get paid off of other brain work.
That's how it always is. We gotta change our mindsets. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta stop thinking. And honestly, that's how Trump got in the first time. People thought because he was on that TV show that they made up everything on that he was a good businessman. Dude was never a good businessman. Never.
I fell for it.
Let me tell you something. I watched like 4 seasons of The Apprentice, and I actually liked The Apprentice because I liked the idea of business. Right. I did not know Trump was as terrible as he was at everything.
I didn't know either.
Until after that. They didn't vouch for him. They just didn't vouch for him.
They come on the show.
And collected a check for a performance. They did not say he's a good businessman.
I believe in those.
He wasn't a good businessman when he filed bankruptcy 4 times.
No, 6.
Well, I done gave him some credit.
Yeah, you gave him some credit 6 times. But I'm saying, like, I didn't pay attention, like, because I'm not, I ain't from New York, so I didn't know his history in New York. People from New York knew all the trash he was. You know what I'm saying? We was just down here watching The Apprentice on TV thinking he was just big-time businessman.
Yeah.
But when you read up and you find out what really went on, you're like, come on. Are we falling for this?
And you got to think, he did not earn his money. His money was given to him by his father. and then he lost it all. So
To be honest, this is the most money he's earned in his entire life since he's been in this. What has it been? 12 years now. We've been dealing with this dude. This is the most money he's earned in his entire life, and he's doing it off of scamming his so-called followers,
followers, that's right.
which is
That's
crazy. And now, of course, they stealing from us.
right. But he's nothing but a con man. How is it that you're the president of the
Absolutely.
United States and you selling sneakers, coins, and anything else you can get your hands on to sell to put your name on? And I'm sorry for calling people out of their name, but these idiots is actually buying this stuff. Really?
Yep.
No.
Yep, they buying the watches. But you remember, like, you gotta think about it. Remember, he had Trump University, he had Trump Steaks, he had Trump Water. He tried all that stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody was
Well,
buying it.
no, he crashed the
Even
NFL.
then,
He
he
crashed
did
the
what?
NFL. That was a good league.
The AFL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he
crashed
did.
that.
He did because the NFL owners wouldn't let him in the club.
Right. But the thing is, how in the world could you bankrupt a casino?
That part. When the
When
house
they-
always win. You can't win. Yeah, it's true.
So it's the thing. If you can't win, you find somebody to buy things for you. He had to get Elon Musk
Right.
because you can't win.
Message. Cool. Hey, so this is crazy. I was gonna bring up LeBron and Stephen A. I don't want to get into it right now because you want to talk about LeBron and Stephen A.
Yo, Stephen A came on like a humble bitch.
Okay. So just give a little background.
You know, stop bringing your mouth about my son. But yet
Yes.
again, Stephen A said it. You put him in a position. Ronnie ain't that good. Ronnie's not that good.
You better watch him out because
LeBron don't want to work with me.
So wait a minute. So actually, LeBron didn't approach him because he said Bronny wasn't that good. He approached him because he questions LeBron's fatherhood for getting him on the team.
And he
So
should.
that's where he was offended. Do you know what I'm saying? That's a different situation. That's a different conversation.
And he should have. And he should have. His son's on the team because he did. Bronny's not that good. He's not being believed.
He better than you.
How many times have we seen this in different celebrity lives? Their kids don't have to do anything to get whatever they want because they are privileged because of their parent.
Right.
So that's what we are with this, you know? So I'm not
I mean,
surprised.
to be honest, I ain't surprised, nor do I care, nor do I mind. I feel like the world runs on nepotism at this point. I've been in companies where I've been in a training class with somebody who looked like he just came off the beach. And this boy, because of his daddy, went from that same training class with me. And when his first day in the office, he was in a C-suite. And when I tell you this boy was a completely unqualified, it happens all the time. So if one of us does it or have the ability to do it, I'm all for it. Like I said, I'm rooting for everybody black. So I don't care. Bronny can play it out, and he can play better than most people. It's not like he's not a scrub. He might not be NBA level, but he definitely been doing some things in the G League. So you know what I'm saying?
Let G League talent ass shine.
But you
got
gotta
to get mad about that shit. You fucked up. You let your son come up. You made your son famous. You put him in the public eye, and he's not.
His son was famous because he's his son. He was famous before he ever picked up a basketball.
You're right.
That's right.
People knew Bronny before Bronny started playing ball.
Right, just because of who it is.
Yeah. And to be honest, like if that boy had a whole ass cardiac event in basketball practice. I don't know his health situation. You know what I'm saying? If that's his dream, I don't care. If my dad had, well, I ain't use him. Let's say if a parent has an opportunity and the means to get their kid to experience their dream, why would you not?
That's right.
Yeah. And I get it. I mean, especially if it's a good kid. Now, if it's a spoiled brat out here and they just out here wilding out, okay. But his kids seem like they're pretty put together for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Stephen A's problem is that he think he right about everything. You know what I'm saying? And nothing is off limits. He wants to be a politician.
Hold on. One, we're not going to go negative about Stephen A because I'm trying to get on this show.
You on the wrong show.
I'm trying to get on this show. I want to be anchor on. I want to be a co-host or whatever. I want to get rid of you I'm gonna get with Stephen A. And I want to be with Shannon Sharp drinking cognac in the middle of the day.
I want you to be on Stephen A's show too.
I want to be
That's
drinking
what-
cognac in the middle of the day.
Bruh.
Yeah,
Stephen A can't keep a co-host. And there's a reason for that.
right.
Think about it. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm talking about cognac in the middle of the day. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can do that without Stephen A.
Oh.
Obviously. All right. So, all right. This was actually a pretty informative and show. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm much happier than I was when we started. In the segment with we're gonna end the segment with what's on your mind. So, what's on your mind, TF from the ATF?
When is it gonna be a time when the American people actually stop listening to the bullshit and tune into some real shit and make wise choices? That's what's on my damn mind. Because it shouldn't be that we have to deal with a clown for the next 46 months. That's gonna be rough. That's what's on my mind.
And probably longer than that, to be honest. I think it's
Yeah,
gonna be.
that's a little bit deep.
Yeah. All right, Des. What's on your mind?
See, mine a little bit lighter than that. I'm worried about coochie sweaters.
Coochie sweaters.
Man, you don't talk about this. Is coochie sweaters coming back? I done seen people wearing them. I done seen here and there, but I haven't seen a plethora of them. But it's like the coochie sweater back. Please, somebody send in email, call the hotline, whatever. I need to know.
We do have a feedback line.
Huh?
Coochie sweaters are coming back. I'm gonna put a poll on the Spotify. If Coochie sweaters coming back, let us
I
know.
wanna
I have
know.
not seen them.
I see.
It say this. They might not be coming back because things are so high. Somebody might have dug them back up and started back rocking them. So you might
The cross colors coming out the closet.
No, not a
Yeah,
food.
it ain't coming back. It's coming back up. Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. If they are back, are you getting one?
I'm gonna get one.
Well, you need to be a trendsetter. Just go ahead and get it.
I'm not doing it for the style back. No, I'm not doing it. Huh?
It sounds like you want to be a follower and not a leader. You
Right,
can bring
right.
them back. That's what it is. That's what it is. I think you need to come in with a jumpsuit on backwards. What you think?
Okay, Carl.
Do a crisscross.
No.
You don't want to bring it back?
No.
Hey, when you bring that pinky sweater, you need to bring back that LL Cool J Kango.
Oh yeah.
Bring that back. With no problem.
And roll your one pen leg up to your knee.
You're doing that part. That part is a no-go.
So what's on my mind is I just wanted to mention a few people that are now ancestors that passed away. Roberta Flack, who I love and adore her music, and Roy Ayers recently passed away. Dwayne Wiggins from Tony, who actually had a really good album that not a lot of people bought, but he had a really good album.
Wow.
And I was going to say Angie Stone because Angie Stone is from my hometown of Columbia, South Carolina.
No.
And not just my hometown, but the area of Columbia that I'm from. She's from that area. So kind of everybody knew Angie. And she was very, if you didn't know her, you knew of her, or you knew people that knew her, you knew family that knew her. She came back often. Every time she did a concert there, it was sold out. And she was an awesome performer. Did meet her once after a concert. We actually went to this hole in the wall club after, and she was there partying at the after party. And so we really had a good time with her that night. So she was actually really, really cool. My personal timeline is flooded because it seemed like everybody on my timeline has an Angie Stone story. And it's a tragedy, and it's really like it's sad because I don't even think people understood her talent. Like if you were to go and hear just the rehearsal, because the way I got to that concert was kind of a backdoor way through the radio and all that stuff. So I was able to go in a little earlier and hear rehearsals and things. And it was just like it was incredible how professional and talented she was. Not just her singing, but her writing. And I just wanted to say that she will be greatly missed in this industry because we don't have a lot of people that have that kind of soul left in their music.
That's
So,
right.
I want to shout out to all the ancestors, and hopefully we're gonna end this in the edit. We're gonna play a little bit of her music in the edit on the way out. So that was on my mind. I think her funeral was on the 15th. One of them, they're having two, so I'm sure it's gonna be packed. up there in my hometown. So shout out to Columbia, South Carolina, and everybody that love Angie Stone. That's all I had, guys. Y'all got anything on Angie or anybody? Actually. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us for the Working People's Pod on Out of the Sand Trap podcast network. Remember to like, subscribe, and subscribe and share. We're on Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube. We do have a merch shop at outofthesandtrap.com. We do have a feedback line. The number will be listed on the website and on
I don't know
YouTube.
about the Susie sweaters.
Please let us know. There will be a poll on the Coogee sweaters on Spotify. And thank you so much for joining us. I remember the people closest to the pain should be closest to the power. So keep your hands out my pocket. Peace.